studios, it's
2 o'clock, and the temperature is 49 degrees.
If you have a flat tire on the road, have no fear. Oakey's Tire in Shelby is here. Yes, Oakey's Tire features road service. They'll come out and have you back on the road in no time at all. And they carry big truck tires and tractor tires too. For all kinds of automotive repairs and tires, see Oakey's Tire. Buy 4 used tires for $100. And remember, they are a North Carolina inspection station. Oakey's Tire, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby. And see their page at whatsupshopper.com.
Love Insurance in Lincoln and Total Choice Insurance Agency in Lincoln are merging and will now be known as Total Choice Insurance Agency. Love Insurance customers.
The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Only do things incredible can, cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
And, oh, there we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Hastings here along with Tanner Halbert. Hunter Yancey's in the house. It's Shock Joxx episode, I was going to say, I think it's 115, Hunter. Episode 115 it is. Here. 115 yet. When do we, I needed to ask you this the other day, and I'll go ahead and ask you on the air. When do we, is that not linked up yet on my stream? There it is. All right, when do we start counting over? On the date we started? Episode 1? You don't remember what date that was, do you?
No, I don't remember what date. Well,
I wonder if I can find out real quick.
We can get close to it because I remember
Well, surely to God, I can click on the episodes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, we started.
It was right during Corona.
A few weeks later, sports shut down.
Yeah.
It was like just as soon as we were started. So it might be February, kind of end of February, March-ish.
I've got episode 1, January 2nd.
Wow.
So we're on season 2. This is season 2. I've got to go back and relabel some episodes, Hunter. So we started January 2nd. We did January 3rd, and then the 6th, the 8th, 11th, and so yeah, went on from there. So I want to thank everybody, all of our viewers and listeners on YouTube and on KTC Broadcasting, Facebook pages, and everywhere else that you tune in to check us out. Of course, this weekend was NFL divisional playoff round weekend. We had a little bit of NBA action, but about everything that I guess need to talk about is NFL related. For the most part, Tanner's Falcons got him a new coach, he said a minute ago. So good for them.
Yeah, that's what we'll be seeing right now, football-wise. Outside of the 4 teams remaining in the playoffs. It's teams trying to fill their coaching positions, and then obviously coordinators going to be coaches. So then that means coaching staffs will be looking to hire other people. It's just the giant coaching carousel begins, and then not just that, we also have some demands coming out of Houston. So we got to keep an eye on what's happening down with the Texans and with Deshaun Watson.
Why does everybody want out of the city?
Oh, I'm not on.
I can hear you fine.
Oh yeah, we can hear each other.
Because the queue was on.
Yeah, the queue was on.
Yeah, so Hunter just was talking about, for the folks that didn't hear him there for a second, about how we've got a mass exodus of Houston. I mean, what's the issue in Houston? All the stars want out. It's third largest market in the country.
No state tax.
No state taxes. Are all the people that run those organizations just jackwagons?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that only thing
That might be it.
conclude? Is that everybody down there is?
Randy Moss made a very good point the other day when he was talking. I can't remember what ESPN network or show it was, but I caught it on Twitter. And he basically said the days of athletes shutting up and playing is over, which I get. I understand that. And because he was taking Deshaun Watson's side, and I agree with it. He was saying Deshaun Watson is voicing his opinion and wants to be heard by the team. And obviously he's not happy with the direction that the team's going. So he should be able to make a demand a trade and go somewhere where he would be happier. We can do the same thing with work in our regular life.
Let me ask you this. If you're the 25th best player on the team, can you demand a trade?
Probably. I mean, if you don't show up to work.
They'll cut you. Right? If you demand a trade, they're going to cut you if you're not one of the top couple of players.
Well, isn't that
on
anybody?
The team. Right.
That's in all major sports. If you're not a
so
superstar,
weird.
you can't do it.
Right. So that's it.
You just need to show up for work.
It's weird about, signing a contract and then, like in football, because they can cut you anytime, as opposed to basketball or baseball, it's a little bit different. But still, when you sign a contract to play for a certain number of years, what I'm getting at, Hunter, should we not outlaw, I mean, I guess that's too harsh a word, but prohibit more than 1 or 2 year deals?
Well, then we would basically get rid of...
Because you signed Deshaun Watson and you sit there and... Like, what if the Cowboys argue with Dak for 5 years over a damn contract? Mm-hmm. They sign him, and then 2 years in the contract, he says,
I want out.
I want to be traded to Detroit.
Right.
And then you wasted all this time, money, and effort, and all it was so he can get that name under the contract, and then now he wants traded. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, should there be a 2 year limit? Like, everybody's on 1 year except for... So
you're saying
essentially... however you do. Because that's what it is
if
anyway.
You sign at least a 5 year contract, you have to meet the 2 years minimum. And then we can maybe talk if you want to leave or break contract. Or you just saying you can't sign...
More than 2 years.
More than 2 years.
Yeah. Nobody. Because... And here's another good reason, especially in football.
Well, we hear the same thing all the time whenever... sports athletes, whether it's in baseball, especially because that was what everybody was talking about with Mike Trout, got the big contract, and Bryce Harper. They all had 10-year deals, and some of them have a no-trade clause. And it's like, you just signed your life away, buddy. So I hope to God that you love where you're at.
A decade.
You signed your life away for a decade. And so I know what you mean, but that's almost like that's the player himself fault for if you want that kind of money, you got to spread it out over a certain amount of years. Like Patrick Mahomes is 10 years.
But I'm saying, almost would it be better him doing re-upping every? And you could re-sign.
Well, that's what LeBron's doing now in his age,
right? And you could re-sign them before the year's over with, but or at the max 3. I'm just basically saying that I don't think we should have long-term deals anymore. It's not good for the teams or the players, or good for anybody around.
Yeah.
And then when you have trade demands and things, and somebody like Tanner here is, as an intern and a fan of LeBron, especially in the NBA, Hunter, like, so they were arguing the other day about whether this Harden trade to the Nets is good or bad for the NBA. And Rick Bucher was saying that it's good because that's all we're talking about. The ratings up, the game stink. Nobody cares right now, but this is what we're talking about. And
if you're talking about just bringing eyes to the NBA, I mean, maybe because he made a very good point when he said nobody cares right now because you dropped it down to 72 game season. That's still to me way too long. I don't care about the first month of NBA basketball.
He said nobody cared when Giannis re-signed. The only thing anybody cares about is movements. But the thing about me though, as far as the player movements though, as a Charlotte Hornets fan, what's the point of being a fan
of the team itself?
Of a team,
right?
If you're not. The way the NBA has been structured to where players are going to force their way and create their own super teams every year to where what is the point if you're pulled for one of the bottom 10 teams of the league? You have no chance. You have no hope. You have no there is nothing to want or hope for or like think about it. There is nothing. So if you go back through the past decade or whatever. And Jordan did this in the 90s when, he basically shut down the 90s. But LeBron, Durant, and Steph have shut down the last decade. That's who's in the finals. That's who's going to win it. One of those three guys. And before that, the Spurs got in there. But the Spurs situation, well, they're a small market team. They won a championship. How did they get it? Well, let's think about it. David Robinson got hurt and missed a whole season. They ended up winning the lottery, winning Tim Duncan. The Hornets have been the spot behind Shaq, the spot behind Anthony Davis, the spot behind Dwight Howard, the spot behind Chris Paul. Every star almost, we've been the spot behind that pick or that guy. And so San Antonio hit on Duncan and Robinson, but what else did they hit on? Their second round picks and Tony Parker and Manny Ginobili and all those guys. So
you got to look at it this way too.
What I'm
they
saying
were
is
able to retain their core nucleus. Like I know we're talking about player movement right now, and that was the goal. Was the NBA is so pro player movement, but the Spurs, they had their core nucleus around them all the time. That's how they were able to win 5 to 6 championships with those guys.
And also with those guys, Hunter, and then Kawhi's, when you draft those guys and you hit on those guys that aren't top 10 picks, you don't have to pay them like that for the first 5-6 years. Like you're getting away with murder, basically not paying those guys nothing, hardly at all. And the Hornets, hitting on Devontae Graham in the second round to me was like hitting on Tony Parker. You have a point guard. You hit it. You lucky. It's like winning a lottery ticket and then being like, you know what I'm gonna do with this lottery ticket? I'm gonna spend all the money on buying more lottery tickets, and that's what the Hornets have kind of doing with Graham to ball. Like, what are you actually doing there?
I don't know. It's just
because that
when you have these
match at all.
If you take away the long-term contract, then in all sports, to me, I just don't know how that would really work.
You're just concerned about keeping your stars there.
No, I know that's the point.
But that's what I'm saying. If you make it a 3-year deal after 1 or 2, you just restructure in that third year. I mean, think about it. The average NFL career is 3 years anyway.
It's like 3 to 5 years, depending.
Yeah. So unless you're a star or a stud, after that first deal, it doesn't matter anyway. You're almost everybody in the league. I would say, it's NFL wise, not NBA. NFL wise, what percentage do you think? 90% of the league's basically a 1-year deal. Like we're going to cut you.
90% of the league is undrafted.
Right, and if you don't perform, you're cut.
That's like basically anybody coming up on a 10-day. They're almost always on a 10-day contract in the NFL, it seems. Meanwhile, you'll have guys in the NBA. You'll pull up, they'll go play in the G League, and then you pull them up again on a 10-day contract if you like them. I don't know. It's just the whole situation with just the city of Houston as a whole and them not being able to retain superstars is kind of alarming because, like you said, there are no state taxes in Texas. Houston is one of the major market cities in Texas.
They won championships.
They've won
baseball
championships
and football.
Basketball, yeah, as the Rockets and with the Astros with the little asterisk next to them, but they did win it.
The Astricos. How do you say that?
Astricos. We can call it that. That's fine. The Astros are the Astricos. But Deshaun Watson is obviously unhappy with what they've got going on there. And I think it's ridiculous because they're so... I don't think people realize he literally just signed a huge contract extension like a year ago. That was what that's why Bill O'Brien, he traded DeAndre Hopkins, because he said he knew for Houston to be able to pay Deshaun Watson the money that he deserves, they weren't going to be able to retain DeAndre Hopkins. And so for him to want out, I don't know. I'm with you though when you talk about it's not fair though that sometimes these players 1 to 2 years into a contract that's supposed to be at least 5 to 6 years can just get out of it, or at least demand to get out of it. And
but I want to make the point: it's not fair.
Holding the team
it's not
hostage.
Fair that the teams can cut them either. I want to be clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just better if for everyone on both sides, let's just stop this charade of saying that you're under contract for 9, 10 years when you're not, or 5 or whatever it is. When you're going to make a demand to be traded in 2 or 3 years, or I'm going to want to get rid of you in 2 or 3 years. It's not. I don't know. I don't think it helps out anybody with that. All right, here's some.
I
other
think
news.
it also hurts too, especially at least in the football side of it, because basketball is guaranteed. Football's not guaranteed unless you have it in your contract. That's not guaranteed money.
So, Watson, are they going to trade him? Is it?
There's been.
Is this
what I have read? There are talks within the organization on possible trade partners, because it's going to get to the point. I think Adam Schefter, somebody reported today, he's not answering their calls. He's not answering anybody in the front office's calls. Like he's not talking to nobody. He just wants out.
Well, if that's the case and he wants out and he's gone, and not, that's why I didn't know if they were still deliberating over it or not. Like, so you got to find a solution or a spot. Now, with that said, man, there's some options here.
Oh, they should have many suitors.
So, right.
That are at least because there are a lot of teams that are a quarterback away.
Just say yes or no, they would take him. Okay.
Okay.
No, don't worry about whatever the deal is. Just say yes or no.
Okay.
Dolphins.
Yes.
Patriots.
Yes.
Jets.
Yes.
Giants.
Yes.
Eagles.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Nobody in the FC North. Chicago.
Yes.
Vikings.
Yes.
Are they? What's their ties with Cousins?
I don't know how many more years he has on his
he's
deal,
got like
but it was a lucrative contract when he signed it.
That's the thing about that one. I don't know. I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if they can. Yeah, here's one for you, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees retires. Saints.
I just got a thing for you on Kirk Cousins. He just asked it. This was reported this year. He signed a contract extension with the Vikings worth $66 million March 16th of this past year.
Yeah,
so
they can't.
They really can't unless they'd have to almost package him in a trade. They'd have to do a Kirk Cousins for Deshaun.
Yeah, you're right.
The problem that the Texans are running into is they are cap strangled, because they are just so loaded with players that they play. J.J. Watt's eating up a lot of cap. Deshaun Watson's eating up a lot of cap. I don't know if they could just get straight draft picks or if they'd have to try. And if they do get a player, someone for lesser money.
I'm gonna skip 2 for now. I want to make Denver.
Yes.
What's San Francisco gonna do?
I have heard rumors.
Is Garoppolo a free agent, or is it?
I think the way they structured his contract, though, they could get out of it. So
okay.
I believe that. I think they're gonna move off of him.
What about Rams?
Maybe.
He said McVay said they were going to evaluate everything, including the quarterbacks yesterday. All right, the last 2 I kind of wanted to ask you questions about. Would Houston accept a phone call about Deshaun Watson, or vice versa, from Jacksonville?
I'm just gonna say this: how I think.
Number 1,
if I was a general manager
for Deshaun Watson,
yes. If I was a general
both
manager,
teams?
yes,
Say
for
yes?
both teams. Whether I'm with Jacksonville or I'm with Houston, because here's the thing that will be very helpful. Deshaun to Jacksonville. 1, it'll actually make them pretty damn interesting, and 2, you're going to give Urban Meyer a veteran quarterback and not have to just try and work up a rookie. And if you're Houston, sure, Deshaun Watson is still going to be in your division, but do you think Jacksonville's really going to be that great?
Right. You brought out the wrench in the whole thing. It's the same division. It's almost a perfect match trade-wise.
Right.
But it's the same division.
Same division.
Also, as far as Urban goes, think about this, Hunter. Matt Rule come into the league. Matt Rule got a better job than Urban Meyer did.
Yeah, he did. And I think he's got a longer contract, too, than Urban's going to get. I haven't seen the
I'm not
the
saying
details.
Charlotte's a better destination than any destination in Florida. What I'm saying is, for the most part, people around the league believe Carolina's a better organization. But when you match them up, Panthers been to 2 Super Bowls. Jacksonville's been to 2 AFC Championship games.
One of them was recent, 2017.
But I think I saw the number from Jacksonville. They had 7 win seasons. I think the Panthers have 7. They both have only 7 or 8 win seasons started the same year. So I think they're almost the exact organization. The Panthers' mirror image of themselves is either the Bengals and Jaguars. Those 3 organizations just.
So if you're just
all go
asking me,
together.
Jacksonville, Texans, get together, trade the first pick and probably some other things
I think it'd have to be straight up.
Deshaun.
Because
I'd
if
be fine with
you're
it.
Jacksonville fans, how do you tell everybody you gave rid of the number 1 pick
Yeah.
and something else?
Right.
And if you're Houston fans, how do you say, we gave it Deshaun Watson and something this for a rookie?
But if you just go 1 for Deshaun Watson, I would still
Right.
take it.
Okay.
I would still take it because
Now-
Houston is going to find that Jacksonville's in the quarterback market, and Houston will then find themselves in the quarterback market. So it's
Now,
a match
Jacksonville
made.
might have to send Minshew that way. How about that one?
Hey, that's fine. I'm just saying it would be a match made in heaven because then they would both at least get a quarterback. You'd get Deshaun Watson in Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence in Houston.
I think the best case scenario for your Washington team is. Now, see,
There's none, really.
the trade thing is basically going to be depends on where if he decides to pick a destination and they go that way. No, for y'all, this is what I would do. Honest to goodness, I would sign 2 people, 2 veterans. One of them's not really a veteran, but one is. I would sign Phillip Rivers and Gardner Minshew. Let Phillip play 2 years before he's retired, and then it's Minshew mania.
I want us to make a. I would like to at
Something
least
to that nature.
I would like to at least see us be. We don't have to be fully aggressive, but at least inquire about trying to get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you definitely should.
We have to.
Honestly, every team, including you guys, so what would be stopping you? And this is where I was going to get into my last team, okay? Including you guys. How about Carolina?
I've seen it everywhere. They want to bring him back to the
For the
Carolinas.
trade. Now,
But for what?
you know what for?
Teddy.
And this is what I was going to say. Well, if they want
Teddy
him,
and that 8 pick.
if they want him, take it. If they want the 8 pick, take it. What I was going to tell you about the Redskins, and as far as the Panthers, you call Houston and you say, what would it realistically take for you guys to have a discussion with us? And whatever they say, you say right then, Hunter, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if they say 7 airplanes,
Right.
build us a stadium,
Right.
12 draft picks, whatever. You just start there. So I tell you what, Houston, tell me what you guys would want, or where y'all want to start, and we'll go from there. And whatever they say right now, I'm like, all right, you got it.
Houston is going to have a
Besides
very,
Chase Young,
can't move off of him.
I would say the rest of them are, and everything else. Like if they come back to you guys and said, and here's the difference between, so to me, if you come into me at any point this year, if I'm a general manager and you said, do you want Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence? I'm taking Deshaun Watson every single time. It's
He's a
like-
known commodity.
right. I know I have a brick of gold. You're telling me I have a silver box that might have gold in it.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it's bigger than this box of gold, but I don't know if it's gold. So to me, that he's worth way more in that sense. So if they called and said, say for the Carolina Panthers and Tepper, and think about it, if you're the new general manager for the Panthers, you call them like, hey Dave, they said they want all of our draft picks.
Okay.
Wouldn't you if you was David Tepper? I mean, listen, I love your draft picks, but you'd have to look at it this way. That's your number 1 pick is Watson. you got it. You nailed it.
And not
Then
just
after that, sign some people. Do something.
I mean,
people are going to want to play with him,
look,
too.
I mean, because look around. How many teams have we said if they just had the quarterback position right?
Yeah.
If they just had that guy. And that's why I think Houston's getting ready to have probably the busiest offseason they've ever had, at least taking calls-wise, especially leading up to the draft. We're, 3 months away from the draft?
Just go ahead and trade him now so you don't have to take 2 months of calls.
Oh, yeah. Or at least go ahead and say phone lines are open, guys. Because think about it, the teams that are really going to be inquiring for them are not in the playoffs right now.
I do wish they would get it done quickly.
I think
or
it would.
any of these
I think
things
it would
done
be better
quickly.
for both parties, Deshaun and the Texans,
Yeah.
if they moved swiftly and
I think
got
it'd be
it
done for everybody. You know, same thing like Cam and what happened to him in Houston. I mean New England. That's a weird situation. All right, here's a couple other news and notes before we get into the NFL weekend. Kyrie Irving missed 7th consecutive game after trading for Harden. Duke drops out of the AP top 25 for the first time since 2016, and Louisville women's are number 1 in the AP poll for the first time ever.
I saw a fun tidbit. Well, it's not really a fun tidbit, but it's kind of crazy. This is the first year, I think they said since '68. See if I can't find that little tidbit really quick.
I think I've got an announcement for you, Hunter.
It's just the first year since '68, I believe, that all 3 of these teams are not ranked in the AP top 25. Duke, North Carolina,
UCLA?
and Kentucky.
Oh,
I'm
Kentucky.
sorry, 1961. Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky. Not ranked in the top 25. The last time that happened, 1961.
Still, that's unbelievable altogether. You know,
Well, if anything, that really points out these are some of the blue bloods
they're all blue.
of basketball. I know they're all blue, but
So is UCLA.
and so is Kansas. That's what it's so funny when
And
they talk
Kansas,
about
all
the blue
5 of
bloods.
them.
Yeah, the
5
blue
best
bloods.
teams, they're all
5
blue.
best teams, they're all blue. But it really speaks to it. You know how great these organizations and these teams really have been for so long.
All right, so I'm coming around to you. I just made a drastic decision in my head. And it just, when things click, it clicks sometimes, Hunter.
Okay.
I'm looking over here at this NBA page.
Yeah. Should I go to it?
No.
I'm going to anyway.
I mean, you don't have anything. There's nothing here to look at, but you can
Okay.
look where you want. What I was going to get at is watching these games. How many jerseys do the Hornets have?
What?
How many
5?
jerseys do these teams have?
6, maybe a piece.
In fact, the last ones the Hornets wore wasn't even their team colors.
Was it the mint?
I don't know
and
what. Yes, mint,
the
and
mint
something.
and like gold.
Mint and gold.
Yeah.
None of it's one of our colors.
No, the worst one of these alternate jerseys is the Brooklyn Nets one that has just like the little thingy on it.
Y'all.
Ours? And
The black and gold ones.
the black and gold ones is sick.
Now I'm gonna say this: the jerseys are. That's not your colors.
No, I know it's not.
That's what drives me crazy. Listen, if you want to put 25 alternate uniforms over here,
Right.
can they at least be the team colors?
What's the same thing whenever Oregon comes out in like all silver one game or
Yeah,
something?
who's this? That
Who's
ain't-
this? I
It's
don't
not
know.
Oregon.
That's not. They're not yellow or green right now.
Or the Mint Hill Hornets over here. Like, what was that? And then,
Those are ugly, too.
and so, and this isn't, this Oklahoma Obi Toppin in a Knicks uniform. It says "City that never sleeps" uniform. These city uniforms. is
That's what they're called.
that's what
City
they're called.
uniforms.
That-
Yeah,
that-
I hate the Brooklyn one.
So
It looks horrible.
So when I was growing up, and I know, this is this old, that God, this makes you sound older. And the Bulls were really the first team to have an alternate jersey.
Was the black and red ones? weren't
Yes, the black ones. Is there one? Yeah, that joker right there.
Yeah.
And that was like big news and a lot of things. And the reason it was such a big news back then is that you identified with that. You basically, a good way to put it is, at all times, you root for laundry. Mm-hmm. You have people wearing laundry, and those are the people you pull for. As long as that guy right there wears the right colored laundry,
I'm
this
gonna
morning,
pull for him.
He's my guy.
That's my guy.
And so, like, if I say Celtics or Lakers, you know what a uniform is. how many god awful uniforms do the Lakers have?
I don't like their powder blue ones. I don't think they
Like
make any sense.
we have a city one. We've got throwbacks, and what I'm getting at is that, like, you know, so if you're gonna do all that, Hunter, what I'm saying is that you've already decided that you have lost your brand or given away your brand identity.
Oh, the other ones that I don't like either, like the orange creamsicle that Orlando puts on theirs. Ugh.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's like white and orange. Like their letters are orange. I'm like, aren't you black and
the
blue?
Miami Vice ones for Miami?
Nah, I kind of like those because they're kind of.
But what I'm saying is that
they're kind of cool.
if we're just gonna wear
Whatever
the hell we want, whatever color, because there are obviously no color guidelines.
No.
In the NFL, you wear the wrong color cleat, you get or
Fine.
shoestrings, you get fine. NBA, in fact, why? This is not where I was going with it. The NBA has so many jerseys. Why don't everybody on the floor just wear whichever damn one they want?
Right, but it has to.
You guys
obviously
are
say
wearing
Brooklyn.
white.
Yeah.
You guys are wearing some combination of white.
Right.
Wear whatever the hell y'all want. And we over here wear color would be like an all-star game back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always weird that Lakers, you know, they'd have to wear yellow at home because they used to have white jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got black, white. They got everything.
Yellow, purple, blue.
The yellows and purple jerseys look fantastic.
It's fine.
The Celtics agrees. I just don't see getting past. I will say this. I'll say four. I'll give you 4 jerseys, but I don't want to see more than that. And I want the team colors. And the only time they shouldn't be a team color is if it's a throwback like your Wizards thing. And those were sick, but those weren't your team colors.
No, I know they weren't our team colors, but they're sick.
Yeah.
I like that black and
I
gold.
want y'all to go ahead and do the Bullets throwbacks.
I like the
Bring back
Pelicans
the names.
throwback.
Throwback? How do they have a throwback?
They
They
have
started like
old
5 years
line.
ago.
You talking about back when they were the Hornets?
They
No,
were
the
Hornets
Pelicans.
jerseys. So the Hornets were actually the second team, I think, that had the third jersey, and it was the purple.
Uh-huh.
So we added the purple, and that was big. So yeah. So what I'm getting at with all that, Hunter, I know it was a long ride I just took, and this is where I want to land, and I didn't ever want to land here. If you're just gonna wear whatever damn color you want, we might as well just have the advertisements on the jerseys.
We already have that. They put the little spot.
No. I'm talking about everybody lose their team name.
Uh-huh.
Let's do it right now. No more teams' names in sports. Yeah, if y'all ain't gonna wear your jerseys, why do you have a name?
So you're talking about basically this is gonna be the
Go soccer.
It's gonna be Atlanta basketball team, and you put the
Atlanta Chick-fil-A's.
I was gonna say the Atlanta Peach Trees because I think that's who their sponsor is, or no, I think no, isn't that?
I
who
was naming a
sponsors
company
Charlotte?
from Atlanta.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A's.
Or the Coca-Colas. But seriously, like they're already wearing whatever damn colors they want.
Not
making
just
it
that,
up.
but you know they're wearing the patch of someone that's
Yeah,
sponsoring
they're
them.
still-
So they're right. They're that close.
Right. That's what. And what I'm saying is that if they're gonna do that anyway.
Overseas, they do it. Except they put it.
I'm not
like,
saying I like it.
They put
I'm saying
the,
you're already doing the crap.
They put
Just-
the
get it over with.
sponsor at the on the back of the
They
jersey.
got tramp
though.
stamps.
Yeah.
That's their sponsorships are tramp stamps.
They all have to get a tattoo before they play.
I just want y'all need to thank my generation for those tattoos, because we started
I'm not happy
it.
about those tattoos.
Those tattoos suck.
Our generation definitely. Everyone 5 years above or below me, every girl has one of those. Everybody in spring break had one of those, Hunter. Even fake ones.
Even fake ones. I'm just saying, like, I understand what you're getting at because it's
Right.
true. Like when you look here, I don't know. Is this
I can pull you
HDMI
up.
pulled up?
Yeah, I can pull you up.
Yeah,
Give me a sec.
like I pulled up when Luka was playing over for Real Madrid. I mean, look at just look at the front of the jersey whenever you get to it. Look.
It looks horrible,
And look, it's on the
god-awful.
back of this guy's over here.
but that's what they're doing already. Is what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
But what they're doing right now is this part. It's just the patch. But eventually,
And then that little bitty part. So what we'll do now, Hunter, is put. That's where your Hornets logo will
'Cause-
get.
'cause think about it.
They'll end up switching them.
think about it. I mean, this essentially is what it's getting ready to be because you've kind of got your small team logo. You've got who made it,
This is garbage.
and then you've got one of the sponsors.
That's such hot garbage.
That's just what it is.
Those jerseys look like a little kid made them.
Listen, like, look at this. I just pulled up here when he's real little. Sponsor here, big sponsor here, and then, obviously, team affiliation and who made it. That's just how it is. Y'all need to be looking at my Facebook. Get rid of it. Take it away. But like these, like I understand wanting to have an MLK Day jersey. I get it. But how many jerseys do you really need? And you know why they do a lot of this stuff is because they know they're going to make money because people are going to buy it whenever they make it available to the general public.
Oh, that's the only reason.
That's really the only reason. That's it. Like this one was the one that you were talking about right here, the city that never sleeps,
Yeah, I
or
saw
whatever,
that one in the
for New
corner.
York. I was like, it looks okay. But the worst one is the Brooklyn City jerseys. Dude, this thing is horrible.
Is that the crayon one?
Yeah.
With BKLN?
This one, I don't care how much it is. I'm not buying it. Look.
That's ugly.
That looks terrible. Now, that's one that looks like a 5-year-old
I
design.
was about to say, explain to me the purpose of misspelling the name of the team.
BK Brooklyn.
Like, what's the point of having a Charlotte jersey with CLT on it or CHA, whatever they decide?
I would prefer them have CLT because at least that's the cost letters for the airport.
I would prefer them write Charlotte across the fucking jerseys and
that, or I would
whatever you just showed
or
there.
If they want to do some sort of acronym, the best one that they could do is QC for the Queen
That's
City.
fine.
I'm fine with that.
How about this, Hunter?
But this Brooklyn, and then they don't even finish out the E.
How do you go from Hunter's crappy jerseys in Latvia or wherever they're going to go to? Now these are the most greatest jerseys of all time.
Those were sick. Those were sick.
Tell me you wouldn't rather see stuff like that than
no. The best thing that they do is
on the podcast is
throwback.
It's the
That's
throwback
great.
Raptors jerseys when Vince Carter, Damon Stoudemire, T-Mac. Like, what was crazy about this, Hunter, is that red wasn't even like a team color, except it was on the Raptor. And then when they changed their colors to red and black, and you were like, why, when there's like 4 or 5 other teams of red and black. Why would you change? And that was like when the
Atlanta, Portland.
Diamondbacks. When the Diamondbacks did that.
The Diamondbacks, yeah, they did the same thing.
The
Originally, it was
Diamondbacks
like
and Toronto both had purple.
Yeah, it was like teal and purple for the Diamondbacks in Arizona.
Pretty uniforms.
And you don't have one up there, do you?
We actually do.
Yeah, it's right there. That was the original colors of the Diamondbacks,
Yeah.
and then they're like, we're just gonna go to red and black, and I'm like,
And then the
dude.
Astros did the same thing. Mm-hmm. The Astros went to red and black. Like, you guys have been navy blue and gold and yellow for 70 years. Now we're red and black. Same thing as the Cardinals.
I don't know why.
But I love those.
It's just
I love
boring.
those baby dinosaur Raptor jerseys.
I do like those a lot, and then the one that I really like the
You know what was
most is
sick
the
in
old.
those?
What?
That I like things that I is the shorts. Is those I used to love playing basketball in like NBA or college team shorts. But they're made big, comfortable, long. Those are my favorites. Somebody I know has a pair of my throwback Jordan Tar Heel shorts that we need to have a talk about, and I don't know who has them, but one of my friends does.
You're talking about them. You're talking about them throwbacks. One of the throwbacks I like to see too is whenever Memphis pulls out the old Vancouver Grizzly jerseys. Those are sick. God, those are sick, man.
What's funny, I couldn't tell you to this day in what part and where of Canada Vancouver is. I just know it was in the West because they were in the conference.
I think Vancouver's out just above Washington State. Or at least I know it's that way in the West because they would say Vancouver's in the West, Toronto's in the East. And I'm not just saying that for basketball. That was just how I was taught.
Now, these are probably my favorite jerseys of all time, I would have to say.
The Barkley Phoenix Sun jerseys.
Yep, the Barkley Suns jerseys. And the court was fantastic. And this was one of the first teams that had they had a third jersey. They had that black jersey there in the bottom right here. This Williams jersey. Oh, that's the wrong one. Down here in the bottom.
Well, if you want to talk about a team that still is embracing the purple, Phoenix is still doing it. They still got the purple.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their stuff.
They've had some ugly uniforms. Like they've had some really good ones, and they've had some really, really bad ones. Somebody out there can't never decide. Like Hunter, honestly, looking at that, what would you ever have to change about it?
Nothing.
But other than the fact you wanted to sell new jerseys to the same kid who's
maybe,
got one.
I mean, maybe an updated.
Like, that's fantastic.
Look, you can still use that same design, but maybe like an updated graphic and maybe updated lettering. But other than that, you can still use the same design. It's the same problem that I have with the Rams changing their logo, and especially the Ram horns.
There's
Like,
an artist rendition of that Hunter, that kind of like what you're talking about is a different.
yeah, you can keep
play
the
on
same. You can keep the same idea.
The fiery basketball.
Yeah, you can keep the same idea, just change it up a little bit.
I mean, to this day, I mean that white Suns jersey, Barkley jersey, is probably one of my favorite jerseys ever. This Chuck right here. Don't know why, but I like it. I like it. All right, Hunter, let's talk NFL.
Yeah.
All right. Get us on our faces there, Tanner. Our Mr. Intern. So we'll switch over here. All right. NFL, we've got 4 teams left.
Yes.
It's the final 4.
Some would argue.
It's the final countdown.
Some would argue it would have been the season's
Don't say it.
4 best quarterbacks.
Oh.
Some would say it would be the season's 4 best quarterbacks.
One of them just got knocked out by another old fucker.
Right. Yeah. You're right. He did get knocked out.
Yeah, Brady wasn't Brady's not top 4.
Oh, God. Okay.
What?
Yes, he is.
No.
Who are you taking right now over Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Tom Brady?
Drew Brees.
Okay. Limp arm Drew Brees, right? Yeah. Okay.
Who threw for more yards yesterday?
I've seen
Who
this.
threw for more yards
I've
yesterday?
seen this. Well, first of all, the longest play of the day came from Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I know.
Who's been in more Super Bowls, though?
What does that have to do with anything here, Tanner? We're talking about right now, and he's talking about a noodle arm, and I'm like, well, he threw for more yards than Brady did.
He also threw more picks than Tom Brady did.
Well, one of them went off his receiver's chest.
Mm-hmm. He also had a high one that could have been a third one. He soared that one.
I tell you, Hunter, what the theme of this weekend was. In almost every game, and as soon as I get the damn box scores up, I'll show you, was turnovers.
Yeah. Yes.
So Cleveland got beat by 5 points.
Baker threw a pick.
He threw a pick, which he hasn't been doing. There's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the play at the end zone where the guy got speared in the head and fumbled in the end zone, and they lost that. That's a score. I mean, that should have been a touchdown. And you missed there, so there's your win. Then you punt the ball with 4 minutes and 1 timeout. Okay, that's stupid. Then you challenge a play that you weren't sure on in the fourth quarter and waste of time.
Tyreek, he did. That was a great focus by him to pull that ball in. And
then, just Hunter, I think their biggest weakness as far as Browns go is if they need to make their defense better. So
right.
Everybody
this year has talked about how weak their secondary is. I think you can get to the quarterback.
I think they need to spend 7 picks on 7 defenders like the Panthers just did. It's getting,
if anything, depth.
I think they're on the edge of being really bad if they don't shore it up like really.
I think really opposite. I think they're really on the edge of being really good.
They can if they
I
get
think
their depth
Cleveland
right.
is on the edge of being really good. The problem
I'm talking defense.
If you're talking defense, then yeah, I think that's anybody every
That's what I'm
year.
saying.
If you can't get
is
your secondary figured out in a passing league, then absolutely.
I think their offense is fine. And if you look at all the games this weekend, all right, only
Do you want to know really what I think your weakness was if you were Cleveland? Your coach is 1 year into his head coaching position.
Well, yeah.
I think he figured out too late what worked in that game.
Well, if you look at that, and that's something I meant to mention a little bit earlier. If you're Urban Meyer and you're Matt Rule, what did Rule do when he came in the league? He got a veteran quarterback. So think about this. If you're Urban Meyer and this is your first ever coaching in the NFL, how do you explain to Trevor Lawrence what to expect? Because you don't know what to expect. As a rookie head coach that's never been in the NFL, he should have veteran coaches and a veteran quarterback his first year or two. It's not like Urban has been in the NFL for 20 years and he's getting this job. He's never done this. So when he's never done it and Trevor Lawrence has never done it, well, I'm trying to find a PC way to say this. If you get two virgins, you don't get a good porno.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
You don't
I
get two virgins don't make porn stars. Yeah,
I think
someone.
I truly.
I'm trying to say it clean. I'm just saying is that two guys have never done this before, and you're expecting them to just come in and and just hey, we'll just dominate the league. Well, that shit don't happen.
No, well, but that's what I mean though when I was saying I think truthfully. Outside of your defense, we've known that your defense was going to be struggling this year because you had a lot of injuries on the secondary side. COVID.
But
hit
how
it
bad
for a
was the
little while.
defense, Hunter, when you hold the Chiefs to 22?
Oh, I know.
Played decent.
I also wasn't expecting Harrison Butker to miss 2 field goals and an extra point and Patrick Mahomes to get knocked out. But I will say this.
Playoff nerves?
Probably for Butker, maybe. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if you're not talking about just the Billies and Joes that are out there on the field, I think it was seriously the coach that held you back. The coach held you back against the Jets, and you lost against the Jets because his game plan was not correct in a game where you had no wide receivers and he didn't want to run the ball. In this game, he should have known, like we knew when we were talking about it Saturday morning, the day before the game, that the run defense for the Chiefs was susceptible. But guess what? He didn't realize it until it was about too late. And so it's just tough.
I don't get their game planning. I don't get their...
And I think that comes down to first-year head coach.
It's like they're doing the opposite of... So if you watch a lot of their plays, I would say over 50% of Baker's dropbacks are play action.
No, yeah, that's what he's good at.
But
play action rolling.
And they'll call that on first down. And you're just like, hand the fucking ball off.
Right. You got 2 studs sitting there right behind you.
Every time one of those 2 dudes runs the ball, unless they're hitting the backfield, they do something positive.
Kareem Hunt, I think, was almost averaging 5 yards a carry. Well, every time I saw him
they
run
both
the ball.
averaged 5.3 yards a carry. So
two handoffs and it's a first down.
At halftime, they had 6 total carries. One of them was Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a reception too.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Mayfield caught more passes. He had more receptions, which caught that one pass, Hunter, than Kareem Hunt had in the whole first 3 quarters. He didn't touch the ball like in his hands until the end of the 3rd quarter and start of the 4th. And so they had 6 carries at halftime. They finished with 22. 16 more carries. They come back. Now, here's a couple of things. Now, here's what I was going to tell you guys and prove to you why the NFL defenses is the key and not the quarterbacks. To me, it is whoever makes the least mistakes, not the most plays. NFL average in history has been 24 points a game. So let's look at some of the games. Bills and Ravens score 17-3. We spent experts spent 4, 5, 6 days talking about these quarterbacks. What's Lamar going to do? What's Josh Allen going to do? Not shit is what they're going to do. It's playoff time. Because you know one thing they don't always talk about, Hunter, in the playoffs? 2 combinations going against your offense. Every team in the playoffs has a good defense. It's also cold.
It is cold.
offenses don't like cold. It don't matter who you are, whatever. The quarterbacks don't like it. The receivers don't like it.
That's why I said whoever wins the Saints Tampa Bay game, I'm serious. I think they're going to be in trouble going up to Green Bay.
That's why a lot of playoff games you see low scoring games. Then you get in the Super Bowl and it's 75
down
degrees
in Tampa Bay
or in domes.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's 40 to 30. You're like, what just happened? But so Bills 17-3, folks. That means this is how I like to break them down. NFL average is 24. The number one defenses in the league this year gave up 18. So the Bills and the Ravens defenses gave up less than the best defenses in football. Now, the Bills had a fucking outstanding day to hold any NFL team to 3 points.
And they, for the most part, contained Lamar Jackson with his legs.
Who had the worst defense? It wasn't them, was it?
It
was Seattle.
Seattle. No. Tennessee had the worst
That's
defense.
Okay.
But the Buffalo Bills were not far behind them. If you just go off straight, total ranking of defense, they're not great. They're not. They're, I think, borderline almost in the 20s. They're almost in the 20s.
I think they were 15 or 16.
Regardless, they're worse than Baltimore's defense. Baltimore's defense, if I'm not mistaken, was like 5th in the NFL.
6, 7. Hunter, who's the best defense in the NFL right now based on points from this year? See if you can guess.
From points off of this year? Are we talking that are left in the playoffs? Yeah. I would have to say the Bucks. Or
You're right.
It's either the Bucks or the Chiefs.
You're right. Bucks are 8th.
Yeah.
Kansas City is 11th. 12th. Green Bay is 13th. And Buffalo is 16. Now, folks, and the reason I did the number at 12, looking back at it, is the 49 and 54 Super Bowls have been won by a top 12 defense, is because 12 teams made the playoffs originally. So, if you keep by that measure, the 12 teams, Tampa and Kansas City are the only teams that can win the Super Bowl this year. If you extrapolate it out to 14, Green Bay is sitting at 13. Then, Hunter, the poor Bills are at 16.
Yeah. But they had
There's only been 5 times in the history of this league has a team that bad, and every one of those teams had someone named Manning or Breeze as their quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well,
or I don't think Breeze was it. It might have been. It was both Mannings. I think the Mannings are 4 of the 5. or the 6 misses.
All I'm saying is, you said Manning, you said Breeze. I mean, he's making a name for Allen, so we'll see how it goes.
He can lose 4 Super Bowls and be in the Hall of Fame.
Jim Kelly is. I think he could go down and be better than Jim Kelly, but
I saw a meme. It was, I don't know if it was Braveheart or one of those. It's one of those movies. The guy was standing there with his sword and all these horses running after him.
Right.
And it said, "This guy is every folding chair in Buffalo, New York right now."
Oh, yeah, folding tables?
Folding tables.
Yeah, they're going to destroy every single one of them.
They see the crowd coming at them.
I hate that the higher seed is Kansas City, so we don't get the AFC Championship game in Buffalo. That would be wild.
Yeah.
That would be
Did you
wild.
see Andre Reed's? He climbed.
I think he climbed up in a tree, didn't he?
Yeah, he climbed up a tree and fell out of it. It was way more gravity than it was jump. There was no he didn't jump through the table. He fell.
I will say this. I will give just Bills Mafia a quick shout out right here, because a lot of people just think them as the crazy nut jobs that jump around and break tables, but I know that, but they've got a lot of stuff that they do for charity wise, and I think they've raised over $350,000 of donations for Lamar Jackson's charity after that game. So I just give them, because they did I think it was a quick segment on ESPN about him one time, how they really do a lot for charity, and I saw that popped up today that they had raised over $350,000 for, and I was like, dang, that's actually really cool. As crazy as they are, that's pretty cool. I got to give them a shout out. Bills Mafia.
I feel bad for him losing the first two, but I don't on the second two because I was pulling against them.
Right.
Go boys.
Go boys,
But I
whatever.
did not want I didn't want the Redskins to win. I remember watching that one. I watched it at my uncle's house. What's interesting about the first one, Hunter, is so KTC, WCSL are you know how we have Christmas parties. Mm-hmm. We used to have Super Bowl parties.
Ah, okay.
But here's the kicker: they were open to the public, and you could buy tickets. So we would rent out, say, the main one when you go to Kraus, you see that Dollar General sitting there. That's where there used to be a fish camp right there.
Okay.
So when you go on when you go to Kraus, you get to that light and there's 4 lanes. That road didn't used to be there. That used to be just a farm. The road went through town.
Right.
So you'd go by that fish camp, and I'm telling you, I'm going to say this out loud. It may not sound great, it may, but I loved them. They were the best ones. I still have never had one as good as what they had there. They had the best ever grilled chicken tenders.
I like grilled chicken tenders.
I mean, this was in Hunter. This was when I was. I think the last year we did it was I was 9. So a lot of people in the 80s didn't have grilled chicken tenders. like you just didn't see, and they were just as tender. Like I'm talking like put in your mouth.
Right.
You almost don't have to chew. You can move your tongue on your palate and break this chicken up. It's so good. But anyway, the last one we did there was the Giants Super Bowl miss. And we had a local appliance store that would supply the TV. We'd have a sponsor. Yeah. And we had, back then it's the big screen. So we'd have a giant big screen TV. They'd bring the truck in, roll it in, and we'd watch it. And people, he sold tickets and everything. So anyway, that was so fun. But I'll just never forget though that last second field goal. So there's people on TV. Before they kicked it, I don't know if you ever see the highlights of everybody like holding hands and praying, like the Giants.
Yeah.
And I remember the Giants fans in that room doing the same thing. The players were on TV. They all got down on their knees and we're all praying for. I mean, I'm talking 100. Everybody was down on their knees praying for this field goal to get missed, and by God, he missed it. I mean, they did. I'll never forget. There was a guy at our table. He was a Giants fan. He got up off the table and got down on the ground and started. And he missed it. And then I just remember that place went crazy. But then, we didn't have one. So the next year, Dad's like, I'm not having one this year. And it was the Redskins that made it. He's like, thank God. We watched it at my uncle's. And but then the Cowboys made it 2 years in a row, and I was begging him to have parties. Let's have a party. Never did. All right, this is Andre Reed. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Gravity proving wide receiver. Yeah. He's not defying any gravity in this. Going through a table here. And this was on FanDuel Sports. If I can click the right thing. So, Hunter, let's break this down. He's in his tennis shoes trying to climb his tree, sliding all in it.
Yeah.
He gets up in it. Now, at this point, I'm gonna just let gravity do its best.
I think he might have just.
I think he slipped.
I think he does too.
He's talking about it right here. Oh,
he said it's very
slippery.
Yeah. Don't slip and fall.
Yeah, there was no jump to it.
No.
He just fell.
Is it time to go to wrestling now?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And this is him trying to explain it. They showed it too quick.
It's all right. It's okay. We get it. The tree was slick. But I'm going to be honest. I don't think you could pay me really to just want to jump off and throw my shoulder into a freaking foldable table.
So questions I have. One, why did he need the tree to break the table?
Could he not just get
I mean, he's a professional athlete. First of all, he could jump up in the air and land on the table. Second of all,
they usually
any of us could jump
high.
on the air and land on a table.
They usually jump from high.
Is that the key?
I think you probably got to have some good momentum coming down on that.
Shit, that thing will break.
Boy,
you ever sit on one?
I'm just saying. All right,
but
you've seen the ones where they jump from like
Yeah.
the top of trucks and the top of the top of houses onto them. Like, so I've seen one where the table was on fire.
That's backyard wrestling, Hunter. You're watching the wrong video.
No, I've seen the one where a Bills Mafia fan jumped and the table was on fire and just broke the table and their back was on fire and just stopped, dropped, and rolled that shit.
I saw that in 1988 at Nixon Gym in Cherryville during a wrestling match.
And guess what? Now it's famous. People do it all the time just to show support for a football team.
That's true. Well, Packers win 32-18.
They're scary.
I don't know. Hunter, I'm going to put it this way. I hated this weekend.
Because the Browns lost.
Not necessarily that. The Packers and Rams, either one of them could lose. I don't like either one of them, really. But I don't like the Packers. Mm-hmm. And I don't like Aaron Rodgers really that much. But I don't like anything on the Rams. But I'd rather the Rams win than the Packers.
The reason why I said Green Bay is scary is because they just put 32 up on the number one ranked defense at the time in the NFL. And I watched that game. That offensive line nullified any kind of pass rush that the Rams had. Aaron Donald was non-existent. Leonard Floyd was non-existent. Jalen Ramsey got torched by Devontae Adams. And they actually had a run game in Green Bay. It's not just the Aaron Rodgers show now. Granted, he's playing phenomenal. I'm with you. I don't like Green Bay. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I always thought he was overrated. But I'm telling you, they look scary. And what's going to help them, obviously, to get... And I don't mean... They can win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying to get there. I think they get there.
Teams can.
I think they get there, and it's only because, like you said, we're getting in cold weather now. What I saw they're predicting for in Green Bay, it's supposed to be in the 20s and possibly snowing. So you think, I don't know if them boys that haven't played really up north a lot at Tampa Bay are going to enjoy playing out there. Like you said, offense, it's getting cold. Mm-hmm. But that's what Green Bay's used to right now. So, and I think, who was I listening to the other day? It was a NFL player, ex-NFL player. He was getting interviewed, and they asked him, he said, do you think weather plays, it was Aqib Talib. They asked him, they said, do you believe weather affects how you play? He said, weather can be a mental thing. He said, if you don't let it bother you, then yeah. He said, but some guys, it bothers them.
Well, if you look at it this way, every second you think about the cold, you're not thinking about football. Like, right. So when it's not cold, are you sitting there thinking about, hey, it's not cold right now? No, you're thinking about
football.
Yeah, I got to do some football stuff here in a little bit.
I mean, I know they're all pros and they should be used to it wherever they're going to go and play, but at the same time, it is different. Think about it. We were talking about it a few weeks ago whenever we were talking with Gene about the Yetis and them getting the boys coming up from Florida. And it was only like
55
it was
degrees.
Like only 50. It was only 50 degrees, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I got to put on a hoodie." And I'm like, you got a team from Florida in Tampa getting ready to go up to 20-something degree snowy weather in Green Bay.
What's weird about, let's say, Green Bay, for example?
At least with Kansas City and Buffalo, they both play in at least cold environments. So wherever they play, they'll be decent.
Green Bay having home games, I
don't think they can't have as many fans.
I don't think everybody's going to be the same temperature. Thing about it is that it's an advantage in this sense. Like, there are going to be some people. So think about it. Green Bay, you get at home, you get an LA team in the first round, and you get a Florida team in the second round. Like, this is football. So, but I started looking at I started thinking about the NFC. I'm like, well, who else plays outside? There's only like 3 teams that play outside in the NFC in the cold.
Just in the NFC in general.
In the whole NFC.
Yeah, it's like Chicago and Carolina. They put and that's not even cold.
No, we're not counting Carolina.
We're counting the Giants. Okay, so the Giants, the Bears.
Giants, Eagles, Washington, and Bears. And that's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
So unless one of those teams is in the playoffs, come into Green Bay, they're going to have an advantage in Green Bay because, look at it. So Cowboys, dome. Detroit, dome. Vikings, dome. Falcons, dome. Saints, dome. Carolina and Bucks, south. NFC West, dome.
Domes. Just domes.
Just nuts.
And then but think about it. How many teams in the AFC play outside? A ton of them. Buffalo plays outside. Kansas City plays outside.
Buffalo, New England, New York, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore. There's 7. Then Denver 8, Kansas City 9.
Yeah. Yeah. Even, well, never mind. They're outside and in the South. So I was going to say even Jacksonville, but no.
Tennessee, if you want to count
Tennessee does. It gets cold.
Well, I mean, it's cold right now.
Right. Tennessee plays outside.
But they do have a clear advantage with that. All right. So Packers host the championship game. Next game was Browns and Chiefs. Now you lose by 5, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even a foot. You're not a yard away. You're not 2 yards away. You're a half an inch away from scoring. And they lost.
All right.
I text Tom. I said, "This is the fumble too." He just fumbled a half an inch from the line, or 3, whichever one it is by now, and you lost. So you lost a 5-point game to supposedly the best team in football, and may have been a bad call by the ref. Hey, don't fumble that close to the end zone. Hold on to the damn ball. Is it a bad rule? Some people say you should bring the ball out to the 20 and keep the ball.
I agree. I think it is a terrible rule. You can't fault an offensive player for fumbling and it going out the back of the end zone and then thinking it's okay to just give it to the defense.
So the thought was back in the day when they didn't really throw it and have instant replay and all this stuff, was that they didn't want people fumble forwarding. People
intentionally
fumbling on like the 2 or like, so if I'm running and I see a guy's going to tackle me,
kind of release,
especially if it's 4th down,
right? Yeah,
I'm dropping the ball and hoping one of my teammates get it, just drop it and roll it in the end zone. So that was the idea, is to stop that mess, but to give the other team the ball. I think a better idea would be, it might have been Dan Orlovsky that I saw said it, would be to move it back. You get the ball at the 20.
The offense.
Replay the down.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I saw multiple
people
say that.
2nd down, 3rd down from the 20, and
I'm fine with that. Because it's difficult for you to just.
But here's the question.
I got to penalize you for fumbling and it went out the back of the end zone.
Let's do and loss of down.
I would prefer them do a lot more of loss of down stuff than just replay of down.
Because here's why. What if you run it? What if you fumble and you start it at the 40-yard line, and then they take it back to the 20? You still got a 20-yard gain.
Right. It's just 2nd down instead of 1st down.
Well, it's probably a 1st down because you just ran 40 yards.
Yeah.
So there's difficulties in that, but somebody else can figure out the details. I'm just wondering if that should be the rule or not.
I just don't think it should go to the defense.
Right.
I don't think it should go to the defense because when we have
if it falls anywhere else on the field that is not recovered clearly, it stays with the offense.
It stays with the offense. Yeah,
Except
and not
back
only
of the end
that,
zone.
whenever we have safeties, it's the defense gets the points, but they got to kick it. They got to punt it to the offense.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know why in that situation does the defense get the ball?
I got one for you. You place the ball at the 35, and you have to kick a field goal attempt.
I don't care. anything except giving it back to the defense.
If you fumble through the end zone, the penalty is you keep the ball.
You got to kick a field goal.
But you got to try to kick a field goal right now from the 35, which makes it end up being a 52-yard field goal.
Yep. You got to try it. Go for it.
So, Hunter, if I tell you before the season started that the Browns would lose by 5 in Kansas City in the 2nd round,
and that's how their season went in.
Is that not a successful season?
It's a good season. It's a very good season with a bright future. As long as they are able to keep everybody in place and build upon it, it's a bright future.
People, we talked about before the season.
They cannot have what they can't have is a regression in Baker.
Well,
they can't.
We talked about before the season is that expectations. So when you talk about these teams, so what's your like when I was trying to talk to Terry, like, okay, Terry, when Romo got benched and I left, I said I'm pulling for the Browns. You remember what their record was?
Right.
They were 0-16. They didn't have a Baker Mayfield. So what's your next progression? Well, let's win 3-5. Well, then what's your next one? Well, let's win 7-9. They did. What's your next one? Well, let's win 9-11, and they did. Like, he has gotten better and they have gotten better every year. So,
well, you can't say that to a Dallas Cowboys fan who goes into every season thinking they're Super Bowl bound.
Super Bowl.
There's a difference. Like, if you I get it. Fanatic is basically the term for it's the long for fan. And I get that. And to a degree, you can be so blinded and so jaded. Like when I used to talk to Carolina Panthers fans whenever they were thinking they were going to the Super Bowl all the time because they had Cam Newton, a great defense. I'm like, that's not going to happen. You got to keep realistic. As a Washington fan, I don't sit here and say we're playoff bound everywhere. For God's sakes, I picked us to win 5-6 games this year. You have to have perspective and be realistic at times.
Do you think Dallas fans, if I'd have told them then, which I did tell Terry,
I mean, how does Dallas feel knowing that they don't even have the most Super Bowls?
It's been 5 years, and Dak has one playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
Ryan Tannehill has more. He did that in one playoff run.
In one playoff run.
I think he might have actually, in these past 2 years, have played maybe more playoff games than Dak.
Joe Flacco has 10 times more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But if you ask anybody under 25 years old right now, if you start a team, who would you rather have, Joe Flacco or Lamar Jackson? Every single person's going to say Lamar Jackson.
I enjoy Lamar. I think eventually he'll get better, but it was good for him to get over the hump and at least win a playoff game. But I know what you're saying. But it's the same thing if me and you were to ask a kid, what you think about Melo?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh, I love LaMelo. I'm like, no. That's not Melo. That's LaMelo. I'm talking about Carmelo.
The car.
The one that's actually going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm talking about that Melo. It's that thing, you know. And it's the same.
People, it's whatever you've seen.
I know exactly what it is. Whoever comes in and tries to replace Brady and the Patriots, those kids will be like, "Oh my God, he's the best thing ever."
So let's look at this for the Ravens. You had the number one defense in the NFL. You only gave up 17 points in a playoff game, and you still lost. Again, Hunter, who's the quarterbacks this weekend? Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers and Allen, which you said could possibly be the four best quarterbacks. Let's say that is the case. Let's say that's true. If that is the case, how's Lamar Jackson ever going to not only make it to a Super Bowl, but win a playoff game other than against a team that's... I mean, he beat Ryan Tannehill. Mm-hmm. Is that...
The defense really did that. They held Derrick Henry to like 24 yards.
How many? Yeah, didn't they score like 13 points?
Mm-hmm. It was like, what was the score? It was like 17 to 13? 20 to 13. That's right. It was a 7-point game.
So in 2 playoff games, Lamar got 23 points. NFL average for one game is 24. So my point is that style of football, again, once you get to the playoffs, it's cold. And the defenses are better.
Do you want to know what else I've noticed, too, about these 4 quarterbacks?
Mm-hmm.
You can argue they're the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I love Drew. I know I give Drew a lot of crap right now for at least the past 2 years. That's just because I think he's not looking and seeing that the door's kind of open for him to go. But it's mostly because the dink and dunk stuff will only get you so far. But now that Brady, same thing we said with the Patriots, them throwing the ball underneath is fine and dandy, but a defense is going to be able to play that easier than if they have a way to take the top off. And so you look at the Aaron Rodgers, they've got 3 wide receivers that could really go deep in Green Bay. In Tampa Bay, they do. Mm-hmm. Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and everybody that can take the top off with a quarterback, obviously, that can throw the ball.
Who's
there.
going deep
and same
in New Orleans?
Patrick Mahomes. Manuel Sanders, maybe? Whoever Deontay Johnson was that got hurt.
With that said, what other quarterback in the NFL goes 12-4 and wins that division and beats Bucks twice with no deep threats?
Maybe Aaron Rodgers.
It's not a long list.
Well, that's I could probably say the top 4 guys that are right here in the final.
I don't know if Josh Allen does that.
Well, that comes down to more off. Like, that's all they had him throwing for the past 2 years, though, until they got Stephon Diggs so they could take the top off. Mm. That's all they would want him to do. So that's more of a schematic thing for him.
So the final game, and again, you can almost one score type game type thing. Defense wins this game as well. Bucks and Saints. Bucks win 30-20. It was 23-20.
Mm-hmm. And a pick.
The Saints had the ball and ended up getting another pick. Bruce threw more interceptions than Brady. So it's not like the Bucks just dominated and won that game. The Saints were winning the whole game, really, for the most part.
But I told Saturday that's why I was going to pick the Bucks, and I'm glad I did, and they came out with the win. It's
Did Brady win that game, or does defense
no,
win that
well,
game?
I'm not saying because it is Brady. I remember specifically saying, yes, the Saints have beat them 2 times in a row. It's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a row in football, especially if the quarterback is Tom Brady. Now, you throw some other Joe Blow over there. Say Jameis Winston was having a hell of a year. I don't think they win that game if Jameis Winston was still in Tampa Bay. But because it's Tom, and because that's actually a really good defense, and they actually showed up, I'm telling that's just hard for you to look at an NFL team and saying, unless it's like a Jacksonville, that you're going to beat them 3 times in a season. They've seen you twice already. They've got film. They're peaking at the right time.
So Brady, his numbers, look at this. 18 of 33. Breeze was 19 of 34.
Similar.
Exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But people today are sitting here basing their reactions on how those defenses played. And you got one got 3 picks and a fumble. So 4 turnovers from New Orleans. How many teams win a football game, Hunter, with 4 turnovers?
Not many.
And
your name would have to be Kansas City.
Put it this way. New Orleans had 4 turnovers and still scored 20 points, okay? That would have been good enough to beat the Browns, Bills, Ravens, and Rams.
Mm.
They could have beat 4 teams by what they got. And get this. They'd have been 2 points away from beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So the only teams that could have beat that would have beat the Saints this weekend were the Packers and the Bucks.
Or the Bucks, yeah.
The only two teams got 30 points. I mean, they'd had a chance against the Chiefs on the last drive if they'd had it. So, man, these defenses, they're stepping up, but it is weird, Hunter, looking at this list. It's got me worried because I really like to pick, especially at this point, based on a lot on the defenses. 8, 11, 13, and 16 is nothing to get excited about.
That is nothing to get excited about, and these are like some of the top 10 in offenses. If I'm not mistaken, I think all 4 of these teams are at least top 6 in offense in the NFL this year. That actually makes me really want to know. Because I've seen Buffalo put 50 up multiple times. I've seen Tampa Bay rout Green Bay in Tampa. I have seen and known what Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can be. I don't think they've played up really to their potential this year, but I know what they can be. It's crazy. Offensive leaders in yards. I'm already looking at 3 of them right now. Green Bay, Kansas City, and Tampa Bay. 2, 4, and 5. If I go to complete leaders for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, this is just postseason. What if I just go regular season? Let's just look at the regular season.
Are you trying to look at stats?
I've already got it right here. I've already got it. If you're going offense,
you got to back up.
Kansas City, Buffalo are 1 and 2
in scoring offense.
I'm just talking about total offense.
You're talking
yards
about
per game. I'm talking about yards per game. Now, if we go points,
yeah, right,
points per game.
That's what we keep score with in this league.
All right, 3 out of the 4. Okay, 1, 2. I'll give you 1, 2, and 3. Green Bay, Buffalo, Tampa Bay.
Are they 1, 2, and 3 in points?
1, 2, and 3 in points.
So
31,
who's
31,
first?
And 30. Green Bay.
Who's second?
Buffalo.
Who's third?
Tampa. And then
what's Kansas City ranked?
6th. 6th, and they're 29.6. I said these 4 in the top 6, and that's what they are. As a matter of fact, 3 of them are 1, 2, and 3.
All right, I'm going to pick your Super Bowl based on that. You ready? I added them together. Mm-hmm. And this is just as pure bullshit as it can be.
Bullshit.
Tampa added together is 11. Green Bay, 14. Tampa's going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Kansas City, 17.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, 18.
That's close. That's razor thin, dude.
Chiefs versus Bucks in the Super Bowl based on rankings alone.
I'm gonna be honest, after what I saw. Now, here's the thing why I am skeptical about picking the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs game, I have to see how Patrick Mahomes does during this concussion protocol throughout the week. If he's cleared, then fine. Because I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. It was just match up perfectly. But
Browns should have won that game.
I don't know. Because if you look at the hit, it's strange. It's strange. It wasn't even really at his head. It was almost like his neck.
I still don't know what part, how he got hurt.
I don't know.
Was it a Dale Earnhardt neck snap thing? Is that what happened?
I don't know. I think maybe the helmet kind of got the lower part of his neck area.
Yeah.
Because it really didn't hit his head, and his head didn't do the part. You see players come down and their head just slams the ground.
Andy Reid said before protocol, Mahomes would have played.
Yeah, I
after
believe
they
that.
scraped him up. They would have.
Did you see him when he got up and tried to walk by
he was
himself and
wobbly.
about passed out? I'm telling you, if they put Henny out there, it's Buffalo by a long shot. But if it's Patrick Mahomes, I can seriously see this game being a shootout. I really can, and I'm fine with that. I think that'll be fun to watch. Buffalo's got a fighter's chance in this game. And I'm going to tell you why, really. It's because I agree with you. I think Cleveland should have won that game, even with Patrick Mahomes in. And I know I picked the Chiefs to win. They didn't impress me. And it looked like, and reports come out now that Patrick Mahomes apparently had like a foot injury.
I'll tell you what impressed me
He was
about
playing
Kansas
about
City.
1 foot.
I'll tell you exactly what impressed me about Kansas City is their coaches have the huevos.
Oh, Andy Reid, they got nuts, dude.
Yeah. So I just like seeing coaches do things other than what the TV announcers sitting there saying. Well, right here, what you should do is run
the ball or to go take a
now
or see if they'll jump.
With that said, from 6 inches away, I don't fuck around and throw a pass.
No.
It's a quarterback sneak the only call.
You
or
know
a handoff to the biggest subbitch
No,
on
do
your
you want to
team.
know what I literally thought they were going to do? I thought they were just going to try and make Cleveland jump.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to snap the ball at all.
So they threw that, which was wild. And they also ran an option with Mahomes, a speed option in the NFL. And like you said,
He's
he didn't
creative.
even get hit that hard.
No.
But then again, and see, that's the thing. One thing people don't talk about. So on a video game, you sit there and play this video game with Lamar Jackson, and you can run around in circles all day. He gets tackled on the video game. He's okay.
Fun.
Well, Hunter, what happens when you're tackled at full speed on frozen turf?
That ground is hard.
Shit hurts.
This shit hurts, man.
Even if you're not running at full speed, it's going to hurt. So think about it. You got to take that into consideration. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say he runs 20 yards, whether it's forward, sideways, or whatever. He just runs around and runs for 20, 30 yards. Well, next play, do you take that into consideration that he might be
winded?
Right. And people don't ever think about that at all. And that's the thing with these running quarterbacks. Well, this play was outstanding, or that play was outstanding. But the next three, he might throw into the ground because he's too tired to plant his feet and do his mechanics right.
Right.
So these quarterbacks in that cold weather, it gets that, and then Kansas City not running it. And I don't know. At least the coaches have, like I said, huevos. The Browns coaches are the biggest chicken shits in the world.
I think I'm gonna if you put my feet to the flame and say, who today are you gonna pick to go to the Super Bowl? I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna go complete opposite as you. And I know it sounds crazy. It's not just because you picked him, but I think Green Bay can get it done in Green Bay. And I'm serious. Buffalo. I can't forget. I can't get it out of my mind. They scored 50+ points at on the number one defense at the time, Miami, and they just put. And I know it's against a 5th ranked defense, but they still at least almost got to the 20 mark. So they're at least showing you they can score.
I'm pulling for them because I don't hate the other ones.
I think Buffalo can get in.
I would never pull for Green Bay.
I don't want Green Bay to get in. I think it would make. I'd be happier, to be honest, if Tom Brady won the whole thing. Or Patrick Mahomes. I really would. I'd love to see Josh Allen, of course, get one in Buffalo. But I'm just... something in my gut says Green Bay is going to this Super Bowl.
My gut says Kansas City's winning. And it has been the whole year. To me, it's almost like one of those...
Well,
it's almost one of those like those NBA seasons where we hope and wish and dream and hope and wish and dream.
Same thing with college football. You
at
think
the end
it's going to be someone different, and it's not.
And then at the end of the year, you're like, we fucking wasted a lot of time.
Didn't we?
We talked about all these teams. We wrote down this quarterback, this coach. We're sitting here thinking about it. Right now, you're arguing about people are arguing whether Drew Brees should retire after going 12-4 and 40 touchdowns or whatever it was, 35 touchdowns, and then who knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl? Josh Allen might win. Somebody might throw. Tom Brady can win his 7th championship. If Mahomes or Rodgers wins it, you'll never hear. If Mahomes or Rodgers wins it and they beat Brady, you know where we're going, don't you?
GOAT conversation.
He's not the GOAT anymore.
I'll
Which is a weird.
that.
Listen to this, because listen to this. This is what's weird about this generation. They'll say Tom at 6-4 is not the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron at 4-6 is the GOAT. Montana at 4-0 is not the GOAT. But Mahomes at 2-0 is the GOAT.
Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers at 2-0.
Right.
Even though it's been 10 years since Rodgers has even made a Super Bowl.
Is there any math being taught in today's schools?
I want you to think about that.
No.
I want you to think about that.
Tanner just said no.
Like, Kevin, seriously. And people I don't think are really thinking about this. How many times does this make it if Tom Brady makes the Super Bowl, regardless if he's with the Patriots? If anything, him making the Super Bowl this year, first year with a brand spanking new team, it solidifies.
Mm-hmm.
It solidifies he's the greatest of all time. And I don't think there can be a discussion unless Patrick Mahomes gets to like 4 or 5 and doesn't lose. Doesn't lose. Yeah.
You got to start at 4-0.
I agree, because Montana's there.
Right, and that's what people used to say about the Jordan thing is that, okay, well, let's think about it seriously. Just take away he's the all-time leading scorer, too. Let's say you got a guy who's 6-0, and he was the MVP of all of his finals, and you have to start there. So once you get to 6, then we'll have that conversation. Until you even get to 6, I'm not answering the door. I don't answer the door for 4 rings.
Right.
I don't answer the door, Hunter, until I hear it ring 6 times. That's the best way to put that. Right. Fucking answer the door for somebody's got 4 rings on their hand.
6.
But then, okay, let's say this.
Saban has 7.
Let's just rethink right now. Let's say LeBron right now was 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
What would the argument be?
He'd be close. He'd be there. Probably think he's got more championships than he does losses.
But my question is that do they argue that he would be greater at 4-2 or 4-6?
4-2.
Because they try to bring it up and say, well, he went to more championships. Okay, then which one would you rather be, 4-2 or 4-6?
Mm-hmm.
If your answer is 4-6, it's kind of weird.
You want to lose 6 times? You want to get to the precipice just to be let down?
Yeah.
I don't know, but this, I know what you're talking about, and I can see it. As soon as Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers wins this championship, I think ESPN is going to nut everywhere. Because
that's what I'm both of those two.
They're just going to lose their mind, and they're already going to be in GOAT status. And I believe Patrick Mahomes has got a great opportunity to get there. But if he wins this one, I'm not just going to stamp of approval. You're the GOAT. Even if you do beat Brady, I'm sorry. This is his 10th.
Mm-hmm.
That would be his 10th Super Bowl he's made. He's won 6. He's got a winning record compared to a losing record in a championship game. I mean, what more do you want? I just don't get it. I don't. And I know exactly what you're saying, but something in my gut tells me the one team that I feel the most confident in making the Super Bowl is Green Bay. It's crazy, I know, because I saw what Tampa Bay did to Green Bay in Tampa. But that was like week 3 or 4. It's been a long time since that happened, and Aaron Rodgers looks like he's in peak performance. Look, someone just fueled him up if he was a car with Valvoline and said, go on, just pedal to the metal. He's doing crazy things right now. First quarterback looking like he's going to have 40-plus touchdowns and less than 6 interceptions. I think he's got 4 or 5 on the season. If the Bucs can make Aaron Rodgers turn the ball over, then we'll have a different discussion, just like they did with Drew Brees. But
all right, I got one.
He just doesn't turn the ball over.
I got one for Tanner here. Tanner, if, let's say you and Hunter, no, not to say you and Hunter, let's say Hunter and myself. So I make your decision a little bit harder or easier for you. All right. We go to we're both Olympians. Okay. He is a soccer Olympian. I'm a underwater basket weaving Olympian. Now, whatever sport it is, right? Let's say I have 9 gold medals, and that's it. Okay? I've got 9 gold medals. Hunter here has 6 gold medals, 7 silver, and 1 bronze. Who is the better Olympian? He's got 14 medals. I've got 9, but all 9 of mine are gold. He's got 6 gold, 7 silver, and 1 bronze. Would you rather be 9 golds or have half and half silver and bronze?
I'd say half and half because you have one in each one, so you can say you won something in each one.
But you didn't win. But you lost 8 times. You get it? You lost 8 times. Those are participate. Silver and bronze are participation medals. One guy's got 9 golds, and the other one's got some silver and bronze. Think about that. That's the argument that LeBron people made it. You just did it.
Well, I mean, MJ did come out and say LeBron was the GOAT.
Where, when, and why?
He said it on Twitter like 2 years ago.
No, he has never said anything like that. If you can find that from Michael Jordan.
Legitimate Michael Jordan, not some burner account trying to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that would have already.
I can promise
that
you,
would have made
he's
news
never
a long,
said
long
that,
time ago.
or else he would have never released The Last Dance to remind everybody.
But Hunter, that's the argument they're making, of course, and I kind of wanted to break it down that way because they'll argue about the first or second round losses. But again, I got 9 golds, you got 6, and that's the only ones I ever played in. And where did I get the 9 number from? Do you know? Jordan actually won 2 gold medals. He actually won college.
Oh, that's college.
So there's your 9 championships. LeBron has 6. He's got 2 golds. He got 6 silver losses. Oh, I forgot. He doesn't have 7 silvers. He's only got 6.
4 and 6.
He's 6, 6, and 1. So 6 golds, 6 silver, and 1 bronze medal. Did you know, Tanner, that there is nothing in Michael Jordan's house that is bronze?
No.
Unless they make the MVP statue out of it.
Unless it's a picture of LeBron. It's the only thing in his house that's LeBron's medal. Did you know they're going to rename it? Huh? You want a shirt that says that? LeBron's medal?
No.
You don't want to talk about him shaming our country?
No.
Losing the championship? The only person to ever do it? Shame. All right, Tanner, hook us up over here. Been talking on Hunter's face for a minute. All right, Hunter. So I think we're done with those actual games.
Yeah, we're done with the actual games.
Trying to get any other news and notes that you wanted to on as far as the NFL goes. We're going to we'll probably, of course, pick Saturday, folks. Saturday morning. Zach should be here Wednesday to go over some more of this.
No other news and notes for NFL, really, other than
check my tweeters.
Other than just seeing, who's getting hired where. Chargers hiring the defensive coordinator from the Rams as their new head coach, even though they got a young stud offensive quarterback. I don't know why they didn't go offensively, but that's neither here nor there. The Niners are making some moves within their own coaching staff. I don't know. That's just what we're going to see right now is all these teams filling voids that they have, filling needs on the coaching carousel. But other than that, it's just getting closer and closer to the final game of the year. Super Bowl.
Breaking news in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Hornets and Wizards will not be playing Wednesday because of Corona.
Is that really breaking news?
No.
It says 25 minutes ago.
Well, but does anybody care?
No. Oh, that's different.
I was gonna
That's
say,
definitely
that's
breaking
different.
news.
Breaking news, yeah, probably. But does anybody care?
Yeah, I mean that's
Not sure. We'll see about that. But I've been seeing that a lot lately in the NBA. They've had a lot of postponements. I know one of the Wizards game a few nights ago was postponed. I think it was against the Heat. That's also another team that is in conversations of possibly having a
basketball
trade
is the easiest of these
to reschedule.
sports to reschedule because they play.
They can play any day, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
there's a game literally right now happening. Minnesota and
two of
Atlanta.
them.
Two of them.
San Antonio and Portland's playing.
Yeah, it's like 3:30 in the afternoon on a Monday.
Yeah.
Like they got times that they're playing at random times. Yeah, Washington and Cleveland was postponed today.
So I was thinking about something the other day, and it's kind of ridiculous why they won't do it.
For God's sakes, there's already a final score from today.
Let's see-
Orlando and New York.
Let's see if Tanner can answer the question. Get it right, Tanner. This is a trivia question. Why do you think that, let's say, since with all the corona stuff, you can only allow a certain number of people in the stadium, some of them don't allow any, shouldn't these teams or leagues, as a sign of good faith to the community, play in different spots other than their arenas? And do you know the reason why they don't play somewhere else other than their arenas or fields? So, like, for example, especially some of these baseball teams, like say the Braves or whatever, that if they're not having fans come to the games, all they need is a baseball field. So would it be neat if they traveled around to some of the local towns, like go to local college towns, like play a game in Athens and play a game in Charleston, or play a game in Myrtle Beach, or a series obviously in Myrtle Beach at different venues? But see if you know the reason why you don't think they do. And it's petty. I'm gonna tell you, it's a petty reason.
Because they don't want to leave their stadium.
Kinda. Who do you think doesn't want to leave the stadium?
The players.
Ding, 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 ding.
They got all the amenities they
There you
need
go.
right there.
Ding, 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 ding. They kind of started thinking about that, and then they was shot down immediately by one of the players' associations, as far as that, because they said that they wouldn't have the same locker room amenities as they would in a professional setting. Wonder what the main deterrent was for that. Because you got to remember Kyrie, when they went to the bubble, he was concerned that the league was going to lose their alcohol sponsors because the league provides them alcohol after the games. These millionaires can't buy their own damn bottle from the ABC store, and the league provides it for them for sponsors. And Kyrie, one of his main concerns, was where they're going to lose their boozing.
As much as he's worrying about all this other stuff other than basketball, now he's worried about alcohol.
It's funny, man. It's funny.
Kyrie, man. See? That's what happens when you go to Duke.
Maybe that's why James Harden is so fat, too.
You act weird. All right, NBA standings. I was pulling those up. We're trying to, at least. This is such a shame, Hunter.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant.
He scored 42.
It's such a shame.
He scored 42.
I know, but it's such a shame. Like, he's going to go down. Let's say he doesn't get hurt again. I'll say he doesn't get hurt again. Like,
I don't know how many years has he been in there. Was it 10 yet? Has he been in the
right.
league 10 years?
It's right at it.
I can find out.
He has played with Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, now Kyrie Irving, and now James Harden. He's played with more than three. I would say if you named the 10 biggest ball hogs, all of those would end up in the 10. You may be able to squeeze all those guys in the top 5 in NBA history. Like, so I think I saw Shaq. It was they were making fun of Harden and them. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be pat pass, pat pass, pat pass, pat pass. I just don't. I don't know. I've seen.
Yeah, he's in his 13th season.
I'm just trying to figure out how it all works.
I'm just sitting here. What was it? I think it was.
They're gonna be hard as crap to guard, but
100%. They're gonna be hard to as crap to guard, and the whole thing. And I want you to think about it though too. It's a blessing and a curse because say one of them's having a bad night. Well, my God, you got the other two to worry about.
Anybody else can go off.
Anybody else can go out for 40. That's exactly what's going to happen. So they're a matchup nightmare. The problem is I love what Charles Barkley said. He said you traded the Splash Brothers for the Dribble Brothers.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I was trying to remember.
That's what he said. So it's going to be the Dribble Brothers. I don't really see it being a huge bad thing if you look at it for Brooklyn. And if anything, it's like how do I put this so people quite understand? It's like a bad problem to have. Who's gonna take the last shot? Who's gonna maybe sacrifice one night while the other guys are being hot? That's like a good problem to have because it's showing that these guys are getting ready to score a shit ton of points regardless. I mean, the other night, James Harden and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, 42. James Harden in his opening night. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the exact number was 34, but I know it was 30 plus. That alone is over 70 points out of two people, and they scored 125. I mean, that's ridiculous. Over 50% of their points just came for those two people. It's amazing that they have so much firepower. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think they're one of the rare teams. Kind of like when they said the same thing with Golden State. It's almost a good problem to have. Who's gonna score more tonight for us?
Tanner, I'm blind. I looked in the lights down here. I can't see.
Come on now.
Oh, I looked straight into it. I just looked straight down.
Why?
I didn't mean to. Lighting rig behind us. Good God. The problem is, Hunter, is that when Steph Curry and Clay score, Clay especially only needs like one dribble.
That's it.
Steph needs a couple every now and then.
Clay had like 40 points off 11 dribbles one time? Ridiculous.
But you can't pass it to Kyrie or Harden
and then just dribble once.
Catch the damn ball and shoot to some bitch. It's not. Yeah. It's not gonna happen. They just catch it and pat. Let me work it. Let me work the shot clock down a little bit more. Shake somebody, do all this work, take 90 steps, 3 spins just to throw up a finger roll in the lane. Man, I feel bad. I always wanted Kevin Durant to have his own team built around him for him, and he's never had that. It's always just been, we're going to throw a bunch of players together, and we're going to go out here and play basketball.
You know who I think would have worked well with Kevin Durant if they were able to have it? Chris Paul.
Hunter. Paul has not made it to the finals. Right, he made the conference championship.
He made the conference championship. No,
Clippers have never made it.
The Clippers have never made a conference finals.
So he's not even made to a conference finals before. So if I
thought he did when he was with the Rockets, though.
Now that might be true.
Not as a Clipper, but as the Rockets.
That might be true.
Yes.
Everywhere he goes, I'm gonna say this: everywhere he goes, his teams are better.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is, again, like that, is that he's never been to a certain point. Is that a hindrance or not? If now matchup wise, if you just said close your eyes and do it, I'd say yeah all day. Like I want someone who's going to feed him, set him up,
because he can still score, but that's not his first. That's not his main priority. Chris Paul is the floor. He's commanding the floor, and he knows that Kevin Durant will be the first scoring opportunity. And if the shot's not there, then he'll take it. I mean, right now,
I always thought
Phoenix just got him, and Phoenix is 4th in the West right now.
I always thought his team should have got Rondo.
But I will say this:
always wanted
some people have made a very good point on Twitter. The NBA shot down the trade that would have sent Chris Paul to the Lakers to combine him and Kobe Bryant, but they let this happen. And
what happened?
They let James Harden and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant all be together.
Well, Chris Paul's trade was they were controlling the team.
Oh, I know.
So that's the reason why everyone was up in arms about it, is that the NBA actually controlled the team, and they're basically like an employee of the NBA.
I'm just saying, it's just They didn't let that trade happen, so who knows how that could have been. And yet we've had super teams pop up left and right within the last 10 years.
Hunter, who's the best point guard that distributes the basketball in the NBA?
Today is still Chris Paul. Now, I will say this. If you count him playing the point guard position, I would say LeBron James. But if we're just talking pure point guard, it's probably Chris Paul still.
Who's leading the league in assists? See if you know.
Is it James Harden?
The Lord, no.
Kyrie.
No, definitely not. No.
You just had the two biggest ball hogs.
No.
in the
I
NBA.
just thought it was James Harden because he at least had he won your average double digits assists.
He
He can pass the ball.
He
but
may not have even played enough games to register on the
Prob-
average.
probably
so it's not,
not.
He's not even listed anywhere.
Probably not. Is it on a small team?
What does that mean?
Like, is it a small market
ball or small market?
No, I'm talking. Is it a small market team? Let me ask this: is it a true point guard, or are we talking it's a different position? So it's the different position. It's not a true point guard. Is it LeBron?
No, he's sixth.
Okay. I don't know then.
His twin Ben Simmons is fifth. Trae Young is fourth. Number 3 is Chris Paul.
I figured. He'll usually always be top 5.
Number 2 is Kareem Abdul-Doncic.
Luka's good.
And the number 1 assist man in the NBA, the only person averaging 10 assists a game in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You still can't name it?
No.
He's averaging a hint. He's averaging a triple-double.
Was it Westbrook?
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
The Joker.
Jokic. That's right. I saw something about him the other day.
Jokic
Averaging a triple-double.
is leading the league in assist right now with 10 per game, averaging a triple-double. Jokic at 25, 11, and 10 with a 31 PER. 16 is average. He's almost doubled it. That's probably the highest one in the league if I click on it. But I was just kind of seeing, like, you know, I'm sitting here bitching about who's going to play with Durant, and then I look at all these people, and there's no distributors in the league.
Not at the point guard position. They all draft scorers.
Would Kyle Lowry be? I don't know. See,
because Kyle Lowry can be considered a scorer too, but he's more balanced.
Here's what Lowry is. You're right. To me, he's a floor general.
That's what Chris
not
Paul
a not a distributor. Mm-hmm. So like Lowry will get his 7 assists, but I don't think he's out there looking to feed everybody that way. But what I mean by that, he runs the offense. What I mean by the general, and I think Paul does a little bit of that too. Like when I see Rondo, I'm like, this dude's about to set somebody up for a pass.
Yeah,
like that's what he's out there. That's why I would love for Rondo to get out there. If one of the Ball brothers would ever learn how to play like Rondo, they might have something.
Right.
Dudes can't shoot. You can pass the ball. You play a little bit of defense. Got long arms.
Size wise, yeah.
You should be They should be looking at Rondo for style. They should be looking at Jalen Rose for style. Mm-hmm. If you take Jalen Rose and have Rondo and they had a baby, that's who the Ball brothers are to me, I think. Your Gilgeous-Alexander is 14th. How about Van Vliet is 13th? Like, how good is Toronto? Their starting point shooting guard is Fred VanVleet. They got Anunoby, Siakam,
Toronto,
and Lowry just keeps winning.
Toronto is the third worst team in the East right now.
How good is Kyle
4-8.
Lowry?
They're 4-8. Charlotte is sitting right there at the 9 spot.
2 of those wins are against Dallas and the Nets.
Yeah.
Like, really, they should be 4-10. They should be down there with Miami and the Raptors. The team that was in the NBA Finals, Hunter, is 4-7.
Yeah, well, and see, that's what I was getting at earlier when I was kind of hinting that there's a team that are wanting to make some trades. There is a lot of, how do I put this? There's a lot of rumors that they're kind of catching fire. Miami is interested in acquiring Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Would not surprise me, and I'm going to be honest, I'm fine with it.
So Butler would have to guard 2 guys?
I don't know exactly what
Bill ain't guarded anybody yet.
No. But I'm fine with it. And the only reason is because I look at what we are right now with Washington, and it's practically full rebuild mode. So if I was Bradley, and I'm averaging almost 30 points a game, I'm sick. I'm trying to go out here and try and win a championship because my back is hurting. Those 4 games, the 3 games that we've won, his back is hurting because he is carrying and doing everything. Russell Westbrook came to town, and it's just not worked. I knew it wouldn't work. Because of their play styles. They both are high volume shooters. That's exactly what's going to happen. And we're too young. So what we need to do is go ahead, embrace the rebuild, trade and get, I guess, draft picks that are young players and pieces, and just dive head deep into it.
Hunter, who's got the worst defense in the NBA?
Probably Washington.
Y'all are second worst, close. Sacramento.
Okay.
They're giving up 124 points a game. You guys shut it down. Y'all give up 121.
Damn, defense across the board. Wow.
21 points a game. I just look at some of these averages on these scoring.
No, everybody's letting up over 100 points per game.
So here's you guys. What's funny about that is that you guys know? Did you? Shit, I can't say it. I'm trying to read it and I can't say it. Washington is not only the worst defense in the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. You have the number 1 offense. You're scoring 122.
Yeah.
But you're scoring 120.5 and you're giving up 121.3 with a difference of 0.8. And you've lost 3 and you're 3-8 with a differential of 0.8. Not winning any close games. Is that coaching or bad or is that the defense?
It's defense. Bradley Beal is averaging 34.9 points per game right now.
Yeah, y'all are leading the NBA in scoring.
Like,
y'all are number 1 in scoring, next to last in points given up.
Like, think about that. We score, and we don't pay attention on defense because we're just going to score again. We don't pay attention on defense. It's funny. We just pray that they miss the shot. That's it.
So, y'all scored 10 more points a game. Oh, shit. Let me break this down. Y'all score, Hunter, 20 more points a game than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they have twice as many wins.
Yep.
They're averaging 99 points a game, and you guys are putting up $120, and they have twice as many wins as you guys do. Put it this way, Hunter. We're looking at the standings. You got the standings up or anything up there? From 7 down, it's nothing but garbage.
Orlando, Charlotte, Hawks, Bulls, Heat. Raptors, Wizards, and I don't think Detroit will ever get out of the slump that they've been in for years. I don't.
Not till they get Sheed back. Make him coach.
I just don't understand because I'm even looking at this and I'm saying Cleveland and the Knicks are surprising me. Orlando was the 8 seed last year, so okay, I get it.
I think what's about to happen is somebody's got to be the 7 and 8 seed, and we're about to watch this happen again.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to be it.
They're gonna
be the 7 or 8 seed, and guess what? They're gonna get blown. We're gonna get swept in the first round. That's a great season, guys.
Yeah, Giannis and Durant's gonna sweep the 7 and 8 seeds in the first round. Then that'll lead Philadelphia and Boston at 3 and 4 probably, going against Indiana and New York.
I'm telling you, man, this is something.
Are the Nets the favorite now?
I don't think so. I think they're close. I think still out of the East, it's Milwaukee. I'm just talking about
I think they have to be.
I think just what I'm talking about, like odds wise, like what I've seen. I think Milwaukee was still the favorite, and the Lakers out of the West.
I mean, I'm not trying to bet on Kyrie Irving's mental stability,
dude. I don't know. Listen, he might miss so far. What he's missed seven straight games. Yeah. He might play the next 10 and go on another 7-game missing streak. I just don't know. And if to be honest, if I'm the front office, I don't really know how much more of it I take.
Right before they traded for Harden, if you were Kevin Durant, wouldn't you just be pissed right now that you left
Golden State for?
I'd be sitting in my room with a poster of Draymond.
You're leaving two of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time for a flake,
for someone who dribbles a lot.
No, I'm just gonna call Kyrie what it is. He's a flake. He's a flake. Whether or not it's an injury that takes him out for like a whole season because he has to get surgery on it, or now missing 7 games. And I know that, and reports are coming out now that one of them was for a birthday for a family member. and like nobody was wearing masks or something. And so now that's what's keeping him out is he still has to go through COVID protocols. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, even I know I don't like to wear masks, but like you're calling out of a job that pays you millions of dollars for what? And then I just read a report that said he bought a house for I think George Floyd's family, which I mean that's a great gesture. But what did you have to take off work to do that? Could you not play basketball? And it goes back to what Stephen A. said. It's like he can't walk and chew gum at the same time. It's like his brain is just not focused on basketball. So I agree with you. If I'm Kevin Durant and Kyrie gets in the building, I know I guess that the reports are they're all excited to play with each other, but I'm pulling him aside and I'm saying, bruh, like, don't do me like this. Do not leave me high and dry, because I'll admit it. I think that's the most dangerous offensive team in the NBA with those three. I want you to think about it. If they all score 30, that's 90. What about the other guys if they score? So I don't know. I think if I was the front office and something like this happens again, I would say I can't deal with it. I know you've only been here for like a year and a half, but you're just a flake, and we can't rely on you. You're essentially eating up money. That's what you're doing. I don't know. To me, they don't want me in a front office because I don't play about that stuff. If I have to show up to work, you got to show up to work.
So, looking at the rookie things, my buddy on Twitter the other day was sending me stuff about Melo and blah blah blah. And he
was first in almost every category: points, rebounds, assists.
I don't think what people aren't getting to understand what I mean by it, again, is that if the Hornets picked him at 8 or 10, I would have no problem.
Right.
Picking him at 3 is the issue. Points, Edwards is first, Ball, Maxey, Wiseman, Halliburton, Cole Anthony, Patrick Williams, and Bay are all averaging 10, quickly too. So 3, 6, 7, 8. So my point is, and was to him, was that you could have traded back, drafted Cole Anthony and Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have got 2 players for the exact same price you got 1, and they didn't. And that's the thing. At 1, 2, and 3, you know, I've seen the Hornets for years. If you're not picking Dwight Howard, and you're picking the guy who's next,
it's not worth it.
You're picking Emeka Okafor, it's not helping. If the other team has Shaq and you get Alonzo, you know, Alonzo's good. He might be a Hall of Famer, but he's not Shaq.
All right.
Same thing with Anthony Davis. So like, I would have rather have like, if Cole Anthony was on their team right now, would their record be worse?
Probably the same.
I mean, they're 6 and 7. It's like, you know, so what if they had Cole Anthony and Tyrese Halliburton on the team, or Patrick Williams playing small forward? What if they got 2 starters out of the draft instead of a 1 bench warmer? Because remember, they drafted a guy who they already have 2 of that plays his position. So if they drafted a small forward, they get a starter. I guess they like P.J. Washington a little bit. That was loud.
What the hell? God, yeah,
PJ.
Wow, damn.
I guess they like P.J. Washington.
I don't know. P.J. Washington and Miles Bridges, to me, both on any other team are bench players.
No, they should be.
P.J. Washington can just shoot a little bit better than Miles. Miles is an athletic freak. Good God, some of the in-game dunks he has is ridiculous. But at the same time, this is a shooter's league, and that's why P.J. starts
They're
over
a decent
Miles.
highlight team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, this is the most entertaining that the Hornets have been probably in the last 10 to 15 years. This is the most eyes and ears they'll ever get. Now, if they can build off of that, because now what I think that does to them, I think it kind of makes them attractive to some free agents. I think it does. They look at the LaMelo highlight reel that they do, and he's throwing them pretty passes.
They got to get lucky, Hunter, and sign the guys that are worth 15 to 25 million, because they're not going to get the 35s.
No, they're not getting guys worth supermax.
But they've got to hit on them.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I think they've done that with Gordon.
So like Nick Batum, he never scored 40 points in a game like Gordon Hayward did.
Gordon scored back to back like 40 and then 36.
30 something. So that never happened with Batum, and that's what I mean by you can get the free agents in that range from 15 to 25. It'd be nice if you got the Hornet strategy should be to have 4 of those and hit on your draft picks. Think of that if they would have just hit on the draft picks, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. We went over that. And Zeller sitting at 4, he's on the team. Monk sitting at 11. PJ Washington was 8? Like how many lottery picks are on the damn team?
They could have had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but they traded him for Miles Bridges.
I just saw where was he at? He was like 10th or 11th in assists right now. Was Gilgeous-Alexander?
I think he can be really good. The problem is he's with the Thunder.
So, Tanner, the Raptors when they won the championship didn't have a single lottery pick on their team. Not one. Won the title.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous is averaging 21 and 6.
Let me show you how bad the Charlotte Hornets basketball organization is. And all I got to do is look at the roster. It's just simple as this. Biyombo, lottery. LaMelo, lottery. Miles Bridges, lottery. They didn't pick Gordon Hayward. Malik Monk, lottery. Was Hayward a lottery pick? He was, I'm sure.
I think he was when he was drafted.
So that's 5. PJ Washington was, and Zeller. So there's 7, at least 7 lottery picks on the roster. And they have a losing record. Again, the Raptors won it with 0 lottery picks on the roster. So, got to make your picks, Tanner. Got to make your picks. All right, Hunter, how's our day looking news and notes wise? And
I think we've hit everything so far. I'm back to the homepage and no sort of breaking news at all. Other than that, I mean, college football news, Tennessee firing their head coach and their athletic director will be stepping down following an internal investigation. They believe there's been some things going on in there. That
Stephen A. says the Nets don't even need Kyrie to make the finals.
I don't think they do.
I mean, matchup wise, really looking at it, Hunter.
Yeah.
Who in the East can, like, let's say Giannis gets 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Katie and Harden's going to get 70.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're going to get 70.
Now, I'll say this. It doesn't hurt having him.
No.
That's a guy that can go 25, 30 at any time. Hell, even 40.
You'd rather have him than not have him. But again, man.
I think they can do it without it. I think they can. I think they're that good. I think the dynamic
you don't have to convince me in the abilities of Kevin Durant.
I think
you have to convince me into the nuttiness of Kyrie and James Harden.
I don't think
they're both nuts.
I don't think James is as much of a nut as much as he just wanted to get out of Houston.
He doesn't like he doesn't like watch any news or anything like that. Like he doesn't know anything about the world. James Harden doesn't know. He doesn't.
Well, I mean, Kyrie thought the Earth was flat for a little while, so
I mean, you could make an argument whether it is or not. It's just they're too. I guess is the word mercurial.
They're
fellas.
different. They're different.
Anybody that grows a beard out like that's got to have something going on.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Psychoanalyze that one. All right. Let me look at my Twitter and see if anything else come across for the weekend. Magic Twitter. You can speaking of Twitter, you can follow me at Kevin Hastings. You can follow Hunter at Hunter Yancey, and believe it or not, you can follow Tanner at Tanner Halbert. That was easy, wasn't it?
Short and sweet and to the point.
God only made one of us, y'all. God only made one.
Only one. Only one of us. No other like me.
Oh goodness. Let's see if there's anything else. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, NASCAR. Hockey did just start for you hockey fans, Hunter.
Yeah.
Big hockey fan you are.
Big hockey fan. Can't wait. So excited, dude. Go Canes.
All right, guys. Well, let's get ready to wrap it up here then. I'll take care of it. This has been episode 115. Actually, Do you keep counting that way, or do you go season 2, episode 1?
No, I think I just keep going. Well, it just depends, I guess. Some people do season 2.
Some people don't do
episode 1,
seasons,
and some people don't do seasons.
But that's the way it's labeled on my podcast uploader. So do I need to go back and then, because that's the way they're labeled. Like I can't change that at all. Now I can put no seasons on it and I'd have to go back and take out 99 or 150. I'd have to go through 115 episodes.
Nope, not worth it.
Take that out.
Yeah, definitely not worth it. Then.
So, or I could go back three videos and change those 3 to season 2, episode 1 season. What do you think?
I guess you can do that.
But
that'd be easier.
But if we did it for 10 years for some reason, Hunter, and it wasn't like episode 1023, it'd be season 10, episode 50. I don't know. I want you to think about that. How do you want me to do that?
Strange. I don't. You can do seasons if you want.
Seasons okay with you?
I don't care. That's fine.
What do you think, Tanner? Seasons are all together. Just keep building the number. I wouldn't have to go back. I would just leave the number season 1. Not care.
Seasons.
You like seasons and restart the numbers?
That's fine.
We could just call them years since we started on January 2nd.
Year 2.
Year 1. Dun, dun, dun. Well, the fact that we got through 100 in 1 year means that we did one every 3 days, roughly.
Yeah, true.
Close. Very close.
Very close.
120 is the number. We're at 115 now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're going to see you next time. The news right now is that Tanner has been working on a opening for us, Hunter. I'm going to have to lay down some beats for him.
All right.
We'll be back next time. KDC Broadcast Shock Joxx.